This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 904, Dirty Words. Enjoy.
I'm kind of excited to see what could happen with the reworking of the Wildy and our little mini quest here. Number one, it's great to have a more concise storyline and a more reasonable time frame. Two, who knows what happens by the time this is all said and done? Will we get that what's the name of the city, Shane? Do we get
4 and 3?
Yeah, like,
well,
do we
4
get...
and 3 was the region and whatnot, and there were numerous cities part of it. But yeah, that would be something that would be the ultimate in terms of wilderness rework. I don't know if they'll go that far, but maybe there will be something alluded to in that as we move through these mini quests. What really got me is that they are really holding to those smaller storylines, in that this storyline started in August and is going to be one quest at the beginning, one quest at the end, 3 mini quests, some wilderness mini events along the way, and that's going to be the storyline.
Well, and I like this though, because so right now, with the way that the Elder God Wars storyline kind of ended and ran into the Daughter of Chaos storyline, that's one thing. But think about this structure and applying it to regions or kingdoms. It would work really, really well, right? Because you don't need a big, long, drawn out storyline,
and it gives them the opportunity to not necessarily just be locked into one spot forever. In that, if they wanted to, they could go look around the area of Ardoyan and whatnot, and maybe even link that in with the gnomes.
Well, exactly. You can build. See, this is easier to build the story of where everything is at the moment, and then going forward, if you want to make things a little bit more complex, you can bring in 1 or 2 kingdoms or a couple of these threads and start putting them together and weaving a new storyline out of the 2 that you made, the year before.
Right.
Which is something we haven't been able to do at this point.
Because the other ones were so big and monolithic.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you think about it, 2019 was when the Elder God War stuff really kicked off with Desperate Measures. And it wasn't until this summer, 2022, 3 years, that we got the conclusion on that. And the number of people who have come and gone from the game since then, that's probably something that can't easily be counted, but it's probably a good number that resulted in people not being able to experience the full storyline. Whereas with this, you get roped in with the Zamorak boss fight in July, you buy a 6-month membership package, boom, you're able to see the majority of the storyline. Premier Club goes on sale in November. You buy for another year and you're in RuneScape for a year, or you just continue month by month until the storyline is finished if you don't want to commit for that long. So it's really good from the story side and quest side and lore side as we've laid out, but I think it's also really good from the business side too. And people probably don't think about that side that much when it comes to how updates are structured and whatnot. So,
well, no, I don't, and there's another one of our little RuneScape dirty words here.
Uh-oh.
But, this is prime. Like, this is how you would do story in an expansion.
Right, the expansion would be one dungeon, Zamorak in Undercity with the boss, and then following from that, you'd get more kind of things to do in the wilderness and some storylines associated with it, and then you get a final piece of the storyline at the end.
Yeah, but don't call it an expansion.
No, it's a dirty word.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, and I hope, if anything, our listeners see that, because that's where we've been before on this podcast and what we have been saying for a while. And if you're new to this show, you'll see that this is something we talk about regularly. We talk about words that are dirty in the community, namely the expansion word right now. But
And look, when it's done, when it's executed properly, you don't even notice, right? Like everything lines up, you have momentum, um, and you get the value that you expect to get out
yeah,
of your membership,
yeah,
right? Like that's the important thing,
right.
right?
And the value for me out of my Premier Club is the yearly membership, some of the cosmetics that come along, and of course the Yak Track stuff. But now, if we're going to be talking about guaranteed stories, guaranteed quests, guaranteed pieces of content that we're going to see the rise of and the conclusion of in one cycle, that adds even more value to Premier Club and just the idea of a yearly sub that you can pick up at this point now, remember, at any point in time.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, not only do you have these self-contained pieces of content where, granted, it may not be weekly, it may not even always be monthly and what we've expected, what we've been used to in the past. But what we do have is this plan. We see where it's going, and you have these overarching, these big goals, these big timelines of a new skill or a new this or a new that, that type of.
And then the question is, what kind of expansion theme thing are we going on for the new skill, and how is that going to tie in to the next storyline?
Exactly. And I can't wait to see what that is.
And that's a grow up, I think, that started with RuneScape and archaeology and then the Elder God Wars, but it needed to be refined into a way that can be repeated yearly, and lo and behold, here we are. So
yeah, I want people to kind of, when you're thinking of RuneScape, I mean, you need to think like something the size of a cruise ship, a battleship, right?
Yeah.
Like this thing doesn't turn on a dime.
Yeah.
It sets into motion, but once it gets righted, you're cruising, right? Like, and I think we're at a point now where we're cruising.
Starting to be able to feel that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.